Welcome back guys, and coming straight off the back of Thursday's video, I am going to jump straight in and buy the new Impaler SZ that was released this week. So jumping on in there to Southern San Andreas Super Autos, we can see that it's right there coming in at 1.28 million. Now it does state in its bio that the Impaler is a simple solution for serious drag racers who want to go from A to B, but unfortunately this car was a serious letdown after reading that bio. But more about that in a minute. Let's get it down to Hal's workshop and get the upgrade started. And so jumping into Hal's workshop, we can see that the Impaler is a 4-door sedan and it is primarily based off of the Chevy Impala SS. Getting on with the upgrades though, we can see that I've already put on all my usual performance upgrades, so that is fully maxed out, and we're moving on to the liveries here. But so far there's nothing really jumping out at me with any of these liveries. Moving on down though, we do see a couple of flame liveries just about to come up, and they are probably about, in my opinion, the best liveries that there is. There is a couple of killer ones at the bottom there, but they didn't take my fancy, and we stuck with this blue flames one. And the main reason for that was because of the description in the bio with this being a potential drag car, and there was the keyword for a potential drag car. Unfortunately, these cars cannot be used in the drag races. Why it's been sort of advertised that way in the Super Autos website, I have no idea. Why Rockstar have added so many sort of drag, there's ones with exhausted drag exhausts as another example. It just bemuses me why you can't actually use it in the drag races, but hey ho, that's Rockstar for you. Nevertheless, I continued on my merry way and even put on a wheelie bar and chute on the back end of the vehicle just to give it the appearance of a drag car for the drag races. Little did I know. So just be aware that if you are intended to buy this vehicle with the potential of it being used in the drag races, don't bother. It's not worth it, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even say it was worth it to buy it. The only reason I could actually come up with for anyone actually buying this vehicle is it does have a similar look to the Stania, which is of course a police vehicle, and without all the mods on it and all the upgrades that I have on it, it does have a slight appearance of a police vehicle. So I suppose you could matte black it and make it an undercover police vehicle, just without the lights obviously, but it's not the best vehicle to go and buy anyway, so I would give this one a pass. But here we are getting down onto the wheels, and I did initially have a look through some of the sort of muscle wheels, but yet again I am back to the high end ones, and it is the Carbon S Racer wheels that I do go for in the end. And finally we get the window tint on, and that is it, job complete. Unfortunately it's been customised for drag races that I can't actually use it in, but there you go. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Now I would have normally taken it on, that was my plan, to take it out onto the drag races and show you how it performed there, but unfortunately we can't do that, so I think it's about time we hand it over to our wild racing driver. Some say that on a really warm days he sheds his skin like a snake, and that for some reason he's allergic to the Danish. All we know is he's called the hamster steg. You're not still crying about what you did to me last week, are you? Well, what do you think of the new car? Any good? Oh well, right, get on with it, get in, go and give us a hot lap, see how quick it goes. And so with that, away we go on the hot lap. Well, it's probably more going to be a kind of lukewarm lap with this car. It is certainly not the quickest of vehicles, as we can see Stig taking a really wide line to get that corner. It is a very pointy vehicle, however point it too much and the back end just goes from it. Once again, a really wide entry into the first of the 180s, and round the second one coming into the Roughwood complex. We know that this stick takes the traditional route, and coming up to the final 180, and he takes that reasonably well. So coming up now to the hamster wheel, and it's the first of the 3 left-handers, and it's managing to take them no bother at all. A bit wide on the exit of the third one, coming into the S-bend, and manages that no bother at all at these slow speeds. And the penultimate corner makes that not too bad, and onto the final straight, and we get across the line in a time of 58.16 seconds. So like I said, not the quickest of vehicles. And jumping out for the second week running, he doesn't look too enamoured with that one, but we won't linger on it because we don't want him doing the same thing that he did to us last week. But moving on, and we have a new contender looking to win that £30 PlayStation gift card. Leaderboard still headed up by Neutrino with his 54.47, but today we have Riot75, and unfortunately I only captured his laps through the Streamlabs and forgot to press record on the PlayStation footage, but we do still have his lap. Now Riot75 was a fairly low level. I think if I remember right, he was around about level 22ish, and hadn't been round the test track that much. He had been round it, he was saying, in the Elegy, just getting some practice in, and there you can see his personal best so far has been a 56.32. But getting into the main lap itself, and he makes a good start with the first 3 corners, cutting them all really nicely, nice and wide for the first of the 180s, round that slightly wide, which is then going to throw him slightly wide for that left-hander down into the back straight. But taking the first of these 2 180s reasonably well, nice and tight on that second one, and coming into the Roughwood complex, takes it the traditional way. Heading down to the final 180, manages to clip that one really well, and into the right-hander before the hamster wheel. Coming round the hamster wheel, gets nice and tight into the first 2, and it does need to slow down a little bit for the third one. Coming into the S-bend, clips the first one really well and the middle one, and coming up to the penultimate corner, slightly wide onto that one, which is going to give him a poor exit onto the finishing straight, and he completes it in a time of 56.38 seconds. So heading over to take a look at the leaderboards, and we can see he's not quite at the foot of the table, but he's nowhere near the top of the table. So thanks for taking part, but not quite there. And finally, I did manage to persuade this guy to come in and take part. It is of course Greyguts93. He is in fact in his alternative character for this one. Not sure why he wanted to do that, but in he comes, and as you can see, he's not done much at all with his second character, but away he goes. Now I should also point out at this point that as he is a Twitch streamer and he does have a YouTube channel as well, his time will go on the right hand side of the board, so he is not competing for that £30 gift card. That is purely pride against my time so far. But getting into his lap, and he's managed to get round the first few bends really well in fact, and he's given my time a good run for the money, managing the first of that double 180 really well, nice and tight on the exit, and he does take the traditional route out of the Roughwood complex. Coming up to the final 180, clips that really well and into the right hander just before the hamster wheel. This is where you can lose most of your time here, but he does that really well, nice and wide on the exit, gives him a good entry into the S-bends here, and coming up to the penultimate corner, reasonably tight on there, gets an excellent exit, and he does in fact cross the line in a time of 54.22.
That'll do.
Fuck you. I've got a funny feeling that he was practicing that and only jumped into his alt account just to rub salt into the wound, but there you can see he does top the leaderboard on the YouTuber times with a time of 54.22 seconds. I'm not talking to you, mate. But anyway, that is it from me for today, guys. If you did enjoy today's video, do leave a like, and if you are new here, why not consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.